Sentence. Having found the convict guilty of murder, the murder of Usman KORO Cessay in cold blood, and having considered that this court does not have any discretion under Section 188 of the Criminal Code, the convict YANKUBA Touray is hereby sentenced to death. And pursuant to Section 252 of the Criminal Procedure Code, the said sentence of death shall be by hanging.
Mbadiŋolu YANKUBA Touray mi yalon ko abe nun AFPRC mansakunda kono anata do kuwo ke fanan APRC mansakunda kono aning Cheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh Gambia la president koto YANKUBA Touray atelo moti mi yalon ko Justice Ibrahima Badjay, the High Court of the Gambia ay kibaro bondi kaitani ko nyinkidi mi yalon ko alo jam fada kendeke YANKUBA Touray wakela moti mi yalon ko kidio bandula iba falale Justice Ibrahima Badjay anyun kumakan banke nyamen YANKUBA Touray be loring anyabe tilindingala waketa wato ti mi yalon ko abala fa warata kendeke This is the moment when Justice Ibrahima Badjay delivered the sentencing of the former junta member YANKUBA Touray. A very, very sad moment. Abala fa warata. YANKUBA Touray medwala falama abokan jandamen atadula wefisia abodulad tonya Usman KORO Cessay mi yalon ko afata YANKUBA Touray ika dabulata ala fa kono afana na family molde ni ku yakilode ifanali yoleta woto YANKUBA Touray mbedwala ala dimbal fo alama YANKUBA Touray na bote koto baluwo se sona no bulinyamen andum fanan ila dunia baluwo se tenteng ikana tanaw tanan din soto abala fa warata mbe video nyim pilela Justice Ibrahima Badjay abe kumo nyim banke kandamen Eye Africa TV na lafta ka full video njibe altaje mbe damandina bondla je na lafta ka full video jibe alta Eye Africa TV abala fa warata This is Active TV.
Sentence. Having found the convict guilty of murder, the murder of Usman KORO Cessay in cold blood, and having considered that this court does not have any discretion under Section 188 of the Criminal Code, the convict YANKUBA Touray is hereby sentenced to death. And pursuant to Section 252 of the Criminal Procedure Code, the said sentence of death shall be by hanging. So this court will rise. Between 9 to 10 p.m. and could not say that the accused killed the deceased. He further maintained that when he received a call from the accused, he informed the guard commander, Corporal Jankom, that there is a threat around BB Hotel area, and they went on patrol. But they left before Corporal Jankom, and during the patrol, he did not see or communicated to Jankom. He admitted of having an analog Nokia mobile phone from Gamtel, and he used to communicate with others. The manuscript of his testimony before the TRRC was admitted into evidence and marked as Defense Exhibit D3, and denied that his testimony in court and at the TRRC are different. He maintained that the living room was wet and muddy. PW3 sworn on the Holy Quran in English language and testified that his names are Hamad Jankom, a military officer with a rank of major. He recognized the accused person in the dock as a former member of the military junta and used to go on guard's duties at his residence. It is his testimony that in June 1995, whilst on duties at the residence of the accused person as guard commander, the former chairman of the AFPRC, Captain Yaya AJJ Jammeh, was traveling at night. He testified that he was at his guard post, and the wife of the accused, called Mami Minte, called and told him to answer to a phone call that the accused wanted to talk to him. Then he went to the sitting room where the landline was and received the call, and it was the accused who was on the line. He testified that the accused said to him that there is a birthday party at Edward Singate's residence, and that he is sending a vehicle and should take all his family members to Edward Singate's residence and drop the family. Upon dropping the family, he should go on patrol with his men on the beach, because they have got information that there is a boat coming with arms and ammunition. He testified that after dropping the accused person's family at the residence of Edward Singate, he went back home and picked his guards and went on patrol on the beach near BB Hotel as ordered. He testified that they patrolled the beach for a long time, and it started raining, and he told his men to go back home. He testified that when they went back to the residence of the accused, they saw vehicles parked outside the residence, and they entered inside, and before he reached the guard room, he saw Edward Singate standing in a military uniform, and they exchanged greetings, and he ordered them to return back and continue their patrol. He testified that they returned back and continued their patrol until very late at night, and they returned home to the residence of the accused, and the vehicles were no longer parked there. He testified that he knows that Usman KORO Cessay is dead, and it was the accused wife, Mami Minte, who showed him a newspaper where it is stated that Usman KORO Cessay died in a car accident. He testified that he later heard from Freedom Radio from Ibu Jallo, the former AFPRC spokesperson, that Usman KORO Cessay was killed in the accused person's house, and that the resident guards were fooled. On the cross-examination, he stated that him and Lamin Dur, WO2, were in the vehicle of the accused family, and took the accused family to Edward Singate's residence. He remembered going on patrol with Lamin Bojang, but could not remember Ensa Mendy and other guards. He denied that Lamin Bojang went on patrol with Ensa Mendy. He maintained that he saw Edward Singate at the residence of the accused person standing outside smoking. He was traveling outside the country. PW4 sworn on the Holy Quran in Mandinka language and testified to the effect that his names are Lamin Dur, a member of the Gambia Armed Forces, and in the year 1995, he was the official driver of the accused person. He testified that he knew the disease as a former minister in 1995. He testified that the disease died in 1995. It is his testimony that he left the State House with Ensa Mendy, the orderly to the accused person, and went to the accused residence and met the guard commander called Jangom, PW3. He testified that upon arrival at the accused residence, Ahmad Jangom informed him that the accused person has instructed that they should take his family to Edward Singate's residence, which they did, and later drove Ahmad Jangom to the beach for patrol. He testified that when he returned from beach patrol, he found vehicles parked at the residence of the accused, and he then went out to see his friends. He testified that upon his return to the residence, he did not find those cars there again, and went inside the house and did not find anybody, and the house was messy with bad odor. He testified that the following day, he heard on the radio that KORO Cessay died in a car accident, and later heard rumors that the junta had knowledge about KORO's death. On the cross-examination, he admitted that he was residing at the accused person's residence together with Ensa Mendy and Jali Musa Song. He stated that when he returned to the residence, he did not find anybody at the guard post and did not see anyone in the house. He further stated that he brought back the family to the accused residence, and the smell of the house was not welcoming. PW5 sworn on the Holy Quran in English language and testified that his names are Pa Abibu Mbai, from 128 Mosque Road, Serekunda, and a retired police officer. He recognized the accused person in the dock and knows the deceased Usman KORO Cessay, and he died in June 1995. It is his testimony that as of June 1995, he was the Crime Management Coordinator, CMC, of the Gambia Police Force. He testified that sometime in June 1995, at around 1 a.m., whilst in bed, he received a call from one Mr. Chan. From Sukuta, who told him that a black Mercedes-Benz, those allocated to the ministers, passed him, followed by a Land Rover that looks like Edward Singate's Land Rover. And that he did not know what these vehicles were doing at that night. And that is why he called him. He testified that the following morning he went to work, and there was information going viral that the finance minister, now deceased, was killed. He testified that there was also information that the said finance minister was involved in an accident. It is his testimony that as the crime management coordinator, it was his duty to lead in any investigation of serious or major crime. And he began his investigation going to the airport and later went to the alleged accident scene, where he found the deceased car was burnt and the inside of the car was almost, ashes. He testified that he observed the rear number plate of the deceased car and it was detached, and went around the vehicle and observed that the vehicle was also attached to a bridge slab edge, and there was little dent on the vehicle. He testified that there was no remarkable dent on the car, and he left the alleged accident scene and went to his office. He testified that he was at the post-mortem of the deceased at the mortuary, where he found Peter Singate and observed that his right hand was bandaged. He testified that he said in loud voice that what happened to Usman KORO Cessay was a foul play, and upon his return to his office, the Inspector General of Police called and told him to answer to the accused person at his office. He testified that after some weeks, he was told that his service was no longer needed and that he should go home. A few weeks later, whilst at home, he received a dismissal letter which states that it was an executive directive that his service was terminated from the Gambia Police Force. A copy of the post-mortem report was admitted through him and marked as Prosecution Exhibit P3. On the cross-examination, his witness statement was admitted into evidence and marked as Defense Exhibit D4. He maintained that his evidence in chief and his witness statement are consistent. On the re-examination, he maintained that he normally briefed the IGP when investigations are closed. PW6 sworn on the Holy Quran in English language and testified that his names are Alaji Kanyi, a former member of the Gambia Armed Forces. He recognized the accused person in the army as AFPRC Council member and also know the deceased Usman KORO Cessay as the former Minister of Finance in the year 1995 when he died. He testified that sometime in June 1995, they, BK Jata, Tumbul Tamba, Pa Aliu Gomez, were taken to the residence of Edward Singate at Cape Point, Bakau. He testified that he, together with Edward Singate and Peter Singate, and all of them joined various cars and drove to the house of the accused person at Kersering. It is his testimony that upon arrival at the house of the accused person, they met the accused person, and none of the accused person's family and home guards were at the house. He testified that they entered inside the house of the accused and they were briefed by Edward Singate that they were going to get rid of one minister called Usman KORO Cessay, the deceased. He testified that Edward Singate told him that the deceased did not know him and asked him to wait at the gate to receive them and the deceased. He further testified that Edward Singate and others left for the airport to see of the president. He testified that upon their return from the airport, Peter Singate was the first person to reach the house of the accused person, and Edward Singate arrived with the deceased, and then Edward Singate signaled to him that the deceased was the minister. Alaj Kanyi further testified that he saluted the deceased and led him into the house of the accused person. According to Alaji Kanyi, as he entered the house of the accused person with the deceased, he heard a sound of a noise hit from the back, similar to someone being hit. He testified that as he turned back to see what was happening, he saw Peter Singate hit the deceased again. He testified that the deceased had already fallen on the floor, and Edward Singate also hit him. According to Alaji Kanyi, Edward Singate gave him the stick, and he used and asked him, as he turned around and he saw the accused person, Pa Aliu Gomez, BK Jata, Tumbul Tamba, and he hit the deceased. He testified that he saw the accused person took a stick and hit the deceased. Alaji Kanyi further stated that all of them were involved in hitting the deceased to death.